Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes report for the past 24 hours for the day of 1381 for the 5th of December. Very interesting Frontline Changes coming up. Very interesting. It's super interesting. So anyway, we start from the Kharkiv front. We have at the Liman, we have geolocation of Russian forces moving south along the street, probably coming out from the forest, which the Russians was geolocated previously. So this is at the Kharkiv front near the Voshchan sector. This is Voshchansk. And yeah, so the Russian forces basically have entered into Liman from the forest direction. So that's one small change. The advance here is around 500 meters, around there. So that's the frontline change at the Voshchansk sector. The next frontline change is over Hulyaipole. Over in the Siversk front. So this is Siversk. Over at Hulyaipole, the Ukrainian mapping has updated the map, which affected the forest a little bit in the west of Hulyaipole. So there's some slight frontline change in the forest. Not super important because it's the forest. It's very hard to tell the front line very specifically. So that's Hulyaipole. The next frontline change is over in Dronevka. So this is north of Siversk. This is Dronevka. So I should turn off the black box, right? Yeah. So anyway, so in this sector here, geolocation of weird stuff happens. So geolocation of Russian forces over here, which means that the Russian forces have started to push out of Dronevka down the railway forest. So just slight frontline change in this sector, probably like 400 meters in Dronevka. The next frontline change is over in Siversk. This is very interesting because first we have this claim that we have reported previously, right? So the Ukrainian mapping depicted UA had on this eastern outskirts of Siversk have updated the map twice in 24 hours. First piece, so let me turn. First piece is here. This was the first one which I did cover in the situation report, where where they confirmed that the Russians have entered into Siversk from the east further, expanding the zone of control and taking all of these open grounds here. And just now, not too long ago, maybe a few hours ago, their late night frontline changes report have updated the map. Yeah, the Deep State US report is actually a frontline changes report, whereas the Russian and Ukrainian Defense Ministry actually does SIBRAP situation report. So that's the difference between the two. So anyway, they map it like this, which means the Russian forces actually expanded the foothold on the eastern part of Siversk, and the entire fortification is indeed overrun by the Russian forces as claimed by the Russian mapping. So this entire frontline change from the Ukrainians. Whoa, what is I think my mouse, I'm not sure it's my mouse or something, something weird shit happened. It's around 2.3 kilometers deep. This is quite insane. So from the Russian claim line, this is 350 meters, which is still quite a bit, for a urban zone. So the entire eastern flank of Siversk has collapsed, which is something that I've already alluded to, most likely to be the case because of the Russian forces able to take the Siversk from two sides already, and this had been weeks. So I think, in my opinion, half of Siversk by now is already Russian control. This is my my opinion, that likely is the case. So anyway, that's the major frontline change at Siversk. Very big one, but it's not the interesting one. Surprising, right? This is very interesting, but it's still not the interesting one. The next frontline change is over at Syrsky. So over at Syrsky, over in the Pokrovsk front. So this is, you see, my mouse is insane. Pokrovsk. I'm not sure it's my mouse pad or my mouse or something wrong. Anyway, yeah, bad marketing for Razer. So over in Satishok, Sudetsky, Rodinsky region, Russian mapping. Ryba has mapped to show that the Russian forces have entered into Syrsky from the south of Geoloc. So this is not very significant like on their mapping, on their update. So it's 2.3 kilometers deep. They actually updated about Geoloc, but the frontline change actually affected on our mapping is actually Syrsky. So that is a bit of an interesting situation. Then we have the interesting one. So if you have watched the situation report, if you have not, you should. This is Pokrovsk. And the Russian mapping in yesterday's Frontline Changes report has already claimed to close the door on this operational encirclement. So it became a total encirclement, and the door is pretty deep. It's like 4 kilometers deep. So this is a very, very thick door, 4.4 kilometers deep. Then we have Syrsky, interviewed by German media, because the German media, some of them has reported Pokrovsk has been lost. Echoing the Russian Defense Ministry's announcement. And so Syrsky insisted that no, half of Pokrovsk is actually still under Ukrainian control. In fact, they are liberating Pokrovsk day by day, and Syrsky said that everything north of the railway line is actually under Ukrainian control. However, we have a geolocation over here of Russian forces. This is the latest geolocation, and this geolocation, as you look at the terrain here, this geolocation is pretty significant. This actually corroborates half of the Russian claims of the closure of this encirclement, and I'm already being very lenient in terms of the mapping, because I could have mapped like this, and this all is under Russian control. But I give my due respect to Syrsky, so I only map the minimum, which is a straight line, and I don't even take the height, the tree line on the top. I just map it like this, and of course with this tree line, because you have to reach this tree line safely. So, and it does make sense that the Russians could have taken this tree line as they closed the northern encirclement on the Dinas district. So this is the frontline change, and the advance here at least is around 1 kilometer. So this means two things. So one thing is that with this frontline change, if the Ukrainians actually still have this position, which we have no geolocation to confirm the Russians have captured, they are now very operationally encircled, like super encircled. The gap here is merely 400 meters, which is like you can't pass. There's no way you can pass this area. So they are encircled. On the other side is that this corroborates the Russians' claim of the closure of the encirclement on the Minokrad salient, and this is not that big. I mean, in terms of confirmed frontline changes, 1.4 kilometers. Generally speaking, there is also no clear way for the Ukrainians to enter. I tried to give credit to the Ukrainians. I tried to trust them, but the geolocation just says otherwise. And the divide between geolocated Russian soldiers versus Syrsky's claim that half of Pokrovsk is still under Ukrainian control just doesn't gel. No, that just doesn't gel. So no, don't take so much. Something. No, it's not good for health. So anyway, that's all from Pokrovsk. Interesting, right? And I told you it's interesting. So the next frontline change is over in the Hulyaipole sector of the Zaporizhia front. This is Hulyaipole. There is an update over in Vavarivka. This is geolocation. We have geolocation of Russian forces over here in the northeast of Vavarivka, which confirms that the part of the Russian claims moving towards the Priluki is now corroborated. Like this area here is now corroborated to be under Russian control. So while my arrow is horrible, I think I still have too high sensitivity for the mouse. So anyway, so that is the frontline change here. The advance is around 1.5 kilometers. So slowly we are corroborating the Russian claims in this sector. The Russians have not claimed more, so that's also say something. So that's all from Hulyaipole sector, and we have one last frontline change. This is over in Orikhiv. So in the Orikhiv sector of the Zaporizhia front, just now we are at Hulyaipole. still in the Zaporizhzhia front. We have geolocation of Russian Ukrainian forces over here. So at Malatomashka. So previously Russian forces have reached here, which is why the front line change. The front line looks like this. Now the Ukrainians have counterattacked and retaken most of Malatomashka. So this is very significant in the tactical situation over here. The advance is around 3 kilometers almost. So that's the frontline change for the Malatomashka in the Orikhiv sector of the Zaporizhzhia front, where Ukrainians have some success in this sector. So that's all the frontline changes in the past 24 hours. We're going to go to Pokrovsk to be our background because this is interesting. So we're going to pull in the calculator. So Ukrainians yesterday captured 2.3 square kilometers. Today is 3.01 square kilometers. So, it's an improvement. The Russians captured 17.59 square kilometers. Today is not going to reach that number. 0.15 plus 3.77 plus 4.04 plus 2.7. Total area captured by the Russian forces is 10.66 square kilometers. And we are back into constipation territory. So that's all. So happy birthday to you. If your birthday today is Saturday now in Singapore. So it's Saturday morning. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to watch DPA's report, the situation report, and Frontline Changes report. We will continue through the weekend. So thank you for watching, and continue to support DPA. Subscribe on the Patreon to provide like substantial financial support to DPA, because YouTube don't like us. Like there's one guy said that he has been unsubscribed 3 times in yesterday's comments I saw, and I did reply him. So if you are not unsubscribed, lucky for you. But there are some people who are like all constantly getting ninja'd by YouTube. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update.